In this video, we learn about field due to uniformly charged thin spherical shell. So, we know that Gauss law is applicable only to the uniform or the symmetrical surfaces only. So, we are here considering a spherical shell, which is a geometrical figure having symmetry, and also the distribution of charge is uniform. So here we will consider a spherical shell. This is a spherical shell, you can see, and it is uniformly charged also. Here are the positive charges. So the radius of this spherical shell is capital R. Now we'll consider a point P, which is as distance R. Now if we wish to find out electric field at a point P, right, so what we'll have to do, we'll have to consider a Gaussian surface. So this is the Gaussian surface surrounding this spherical shell. Okay. So now if we wish to find out the electric field at point P. So we have already considered a Gaussian surface of radius R. So by Gauss law, what will be the flux through this surface? You can see here the electric field will be directed in the outward direction like this, and area vector is also along the electric field only. So flux will be surface integral of E dot ds, right? Now what will be E dot ds? It will be surface integral of E dot unit vector along the perpendicular unit vector, then ds. So at any point on Gaussian surface, the electric field will be pointed outward. Also the area vector, this area vector n, is also in the direction of electric field. So what will be E dot n? E dot n will be modulus of E modulus of n cos theta. Now in this diagram you can see that electric field vector and the area vector, they are along the same direction. So the theta between them is 0 degree. So cos 0 degree is 1. So what will be electric field? Electric field will be, flux will be E surface integral of ds. So what is the surface area of the sphere? Surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r square. So flux through this surface will be equal to E into 4 pi r square. Also, according to Gauss theorem, we know that electric flux is equals to charge upon epsilon naught, Q upon epsilon naught. So substituting it, so phi is equals to E 4 pi r square Q upon epsilon naught, or we can say E is equals to Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So this is the value of electric field for the point which is outside the spherical shell, or we can say the external point. Now if the point lies on the surface of Gaussian surface, so in that case what will happen? Radius of Gaussian surface will be equal to the radius of spherical shell, means small r will be equal to capital R. So in that case we can substitute small r square by capital R square, and we'll get the value of electric field for the point on the surface of Gaussian surface will be equal to Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught capital R square, right? Now if the point is inside the spherical shell, it means that capital R will be less than small r. So It means that this is the uniformly charge distributed spherical shell. P is a point inside this shell, and we are considering this Gaussian surface. This is Gaussian surface. This is spherical shell. Now the point is lying inside the shell. This point P is lying inside this shell, and this point is at small r distance, and the radius of spherical shell is capital R, right? So flux through the Gaussian surface, earlier also we have calculated, will be equal to 4 pi r square, right? Now into E, the flux is 4 pi r square E. But in this case, we all know that the Gaussian surface encloses no charge within the surface. Within this Gaussian surface, this is Gaussian surface, we have no charge. The charges are only lying on the surface of the spherical shell. So Q is 0. So by Gauss law, flux is equals to Q upon epsilon naught. So Q is 0. So E into 4 pi r square will be 0, or we can say E is 0. So electric field will be 0 inside any closed conductor. So we can conclude that the field due to a uniformly charged thin shell is 0 at all the points inside the shell. Now if we draw a graph between the electric field and the distance of a point from the surface, from any spherical shell. So here you can see that on y-axis I have taken electric field, on x-axis I have taken this distance r. Now here you can see that the electric field remains 0 inside the shell. So this region is showing that the electric field inside the shell is 0 if the point lies inside the shell. Now at a point which lies on the Gaussian surface, or if the point lies on the spherical shell only, so r becomes equal to r, and for any other point means greater than small r. Any point which is greater than small r means if the point is lying outside the surface of spherical shell, the electric field varies as 1 upon r square. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance. So this is the curve showing the variation of E with r for spherical shell. Next we'll study about electric field due to infinite plane sheet of charge, right? So here you can see this is a plane sheet having charges which is uniformly distributed. Now this the dimensions of this plane sheet are very large as compared to the dimension that we will consider for the expressions. Okay, so first we are considering this plane sheet of charge which has uniform distribution of charge extended up to infinity, right? So these are this sheet is extended up to infinity, right? Now we will consider a point P. This is point P which is at distance x from the sheet, right? Now let sigma is the charge density, that is charge per unit area. So why we are considering charge density? We are considering charge density because the plane sheet is extended up to infinity, so we cannot easily calculate the number of charges. So that's why we are using this charge density here. Now we'll have to consider a Gaussian surface so as to find out the electric field due to this plane, infinite plane sheet of charge. So we are considering here a cylinder. So this is a cylinder which is at a distance x from the plane sheet. Okay, now what will be the length of this cylinder? Because on both the sides of the cylinder we'll have to consider this Gaussian surface. So from this side it is at distance x, from the other side also it will be at distance x. So x plus x, it will be 2x. Let the area of cross section is A. The area of cross section is A. Now we'll consider about the total flux for the Gaussian surface. So total flux crossing through this Gaussian surface. So total flux will be Q inside, means whatever the charges are inside this Gaussian surface, Q inside upon epsilon naught. Now the total flux can also be written as phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3. What are these phi 1, phi 2 and phi 3? Let us see. So here in this diagram, this Gaussian surface has three faces. One is this cylindrical, circular face, whose area vector is directed towards outwards. Whenever we are considering any 3D surface, so the area vector should be considered outwards. So this is the direction of area vector, and this is the direction of electric field. Here you can see the theta, or the angle between the electric field and the area vector, is 0 degree. Whenever we are considering any Gaussian surface, we should keep it in mind that the area vector should be either in the direction, means either parallel or perpendicular to the electric field. Okay, so here you can see the area vector is parallel to electric field, so theta will be equal to 0. This is the first surface or the first area we are considering. Right, now here this is the second area. Flux through this area will be phi 2. Here electric field is also outwards and area vector is also outwards, so they are parallel to each other. And here also theta is equals to 0 degree. This will be the flux through this surface, will be phi 2. Now third surface is the curved surface of this cylinder. The curved surface of this cylinder. So what will be the direction of area vector outward of the curved surface? So this is the direction. And what is the direction of electric field? This. So area vector and the electric field, they are forming a 90 degree. So theta will be 90. They are perpendicular to each other. So this will be flux 3. Coming to the expression. So total flux will be due to the flux through all these three surfaces. So flux 1 will be EDA cos 0 degree. Flux 2 will be EDA cos 0 degree, because the angle between area vector and E is 0 degree. And the flux through the curved surface will be EDA cos 90. EDA cos 90 will come out to be 0. Cos 90 is 0. Okay. So flux total will also be equal to Q0 inside the Gaussian surface upon epsilon naught, equals to EDA. Cos 0 is 1, so it will be E will come out to be a numerical value, so we will not integrate it. So it will be integration of dA plus EDA, and EDA cos 90 is 0. Now Q inside upon epsilon naught will be, what will be the integration of dA? It will be A. So EA plus EA. So Q inside upon epsilon naught is 2EA. Now charge inside A. Charge inside A means area of cylinder crossing the plate. What is A here? Area of cylinder crossing the plate. So you can see this is the area. This is the area which this Gaussian surface is crossing. So these are the charges inside this area. Okay, and we have already used this, considered this sigma is the charge density Q upon A. So here in this area, what will be the charge density? It will be Q inside this surface area, and A will be the area of this region. Q will be charge inside this region, A will be area of this region, right? So this will be the, it is equal to sigma, and we all know that it is uniformly distributed, so sigma will be same. Now Q is equals to, sigma is equals to Q inside upon A, or we can write A into sigma is Q inside, that is charge enclosed by the area of Gaussian surface occupied by the Gaussian surface on the plate. Now we can write A sigma upon epsilon naught is equals to 2EA. We are substituting the values here. So A will be cancelled by A, and sigma upon epsilon naught will be equal to 2E, or we can write E is equals to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. So this is the electric field for a uniformly distributed charge plane sheet.